Okay, so this video is mostly just for Lex, and it's also just a test for myself. Just going to see exactly how strong this monster is. The Twisted Stalker. It's going to be designed to fight the Erlmeyer party, which is we have my character, a Lizard Folk Gloomstalker, a Deep Gnome Psyknife, a Air Genasi Wild Soul, which we have some. I mean, we have homebrew on a lot of these, but and a Black Dragon Bloodline Sorcerer. So two caveats right away. These two characters have not actually been leveled up to level 9. The players just never got around to it, so that's a thing. But I'm going to operate as if they're level 9, so they'll have a little more HP. I'm not actually going to calculate it, but if they actually run out of HP, then I'll worry about it. Um, Mainly, Ayla, the sorcerer, is going to have a single 5th level spell slot, and she'll have one more 4th level slot, and I'm going to assume that this character, being a Draconic Soul Sorcerer, would take the Draconic Spirit 5th level spell. It's a good spell. It's probably what I'm going to demo here. And then the Barbarian gets Brutal Critical. Everything else is normal. So I'm going to demo this as if it was in the game. This monster is supposed to be kind of sneaking up and harassing the party at different points. Ideally, it would be multiple times. So just kind of go over some of its abilities real quick. Sunlight sensitivity. This, I didn't know what to name it, but basically it doesn't have disadvantage on ranged attacks when it's in melee range with something. Acidic blood, which mostly punishes the melee guys. Got umbral cloaking. That's you messaging me, by the way. Umbral cloaking, which is just the Gloomstalker's umbral sight feature, and that's lovely in the background if you can hear her. So, just so that you can't see it in the dark, even if you do have dark vision, which is going to be hilarious. This monster, and Henich fighting because they both have that, so they both have trouble seeing each other. Which I don't know if I gave. No, I didn't. I just gave this thing dark vision. I didn't give it blind sight. That might be something I decide to give it, so that it specifically has a big advantage in its ideal situation, which is at night. But we'll just run this, like I said, this combat I'm going to run with the monster as it is. Then it has rogue evasion, legendary resistances. It has a multi-attack. It makes 2 claw attacks and then a ranged attack, just so that it can still be dangerous to ranged targets, which they're gonna like fly out to like Zika in particular is going to move out to this 100-foot range probably, so I might increase the range of this acidic spit and reflavor it slightly. And if I increase the range and reflavor it, I'll probably make it both stronger and this creature has some sort of detriment. Like he's got a few shots of this and then he has to regenerate acid or something instead of just an acidic spit it can just do that's shorter range. But again, that's a tweakable thing. Predatory tactics, it's just a slightly modified cunning action. It can take the hide, disengage, or search actions. I'd probably give it. I could give it the dash action too, but instead I just gave it like a charger ability, where if it takes the dash action, then it can make a single acidic claw attack as a bonus action. And maybe I'll make it so that this crits on a 19 or something, or just make it slightly stronger. But then the displace presence reaction, which is on a recharge, basically it can negate a single hit. Um, that might not be that powerful, especially as a recharge ability, but I already gave it a pretty high armor class. I think its HP is a little low, but that combined with the fact that it's attacking at night and everyone is going to have a very difficult time seeing it, that's going to be a big thing. And then the mythic action, which will may or may not happen during this, but its AC drops, it does extra damage and a few other things. But I think this would be better served as instead of when it drops to 30 health, that basically means it has another turn or another round at most. So that doesn't mean it has much time. So I think the optional version of this, where it just immediately takes it immediately takes a turn now in the middle of whatever's happening, even if it's like Zephyria attacking it with her two attacks, she kills it with the first one, or triggers this mythic action with the first one, and then the Stalker triggers this. It just gets to take a turn in between her attacks, something like that, and then dies. That's an idea. But I gave it poison vulnerability, which I'm just going to ignore for this. Vulnerabilities aren't a huge thing. I might consider different in certain condition immunities, like maybe resistance to fear, because Henich has a fear spell. I don't think anybody else has any fear effects, but I might just give it that. All right, I have my physical dice here. If you know, physical dice right here, so that I can just roll because I don't have access to everybody's sheet, so I can't roll in there. But yeah. So this imaginary scenario, it's just the party. I know we're also going to have Gertrude, Evelyn, and Baroon with us, so we've got some backup. But for the sake of things, I'm just running it with these, and it's going to be this creature's ideal target. Now the thing is, because of the party composition, there's going to more than likely be two, like the two characters that are more likely to be on watch are either Ayla, who is an elf, so they don't need to sleep, or Henich, who needs less sleep because of some homebrew stuff we did with lizard folk, and he has a ring of warmth, so he doesn't have to. Some of his long rest doesn't have to be sunbathing. So it's going to be Ayla or Henich that is, going to be on watch. So we will just roll for that. And I'm just going to do just a flat d20 roll for either one. So first is Henich. He's got a 9. Ayla has a 12, so Ayla's going to be on watch. And just has, that has implications. So, and we're just going to put the player characters kind of around the fire, just like that. Now let's roll to determine where the stalker comes from. Should I roll a d8 or 1, 2, 3? Yeah, let's just roll a d8 or a d4. Okay, so 3. All right, so it's going to come from down here. Now, so it's going to be approaching the party, and it has a melee or range capability, but it's a melee creature. So this is going to be, what do you call it? There is a bonfire, which let's look up real quick how much light a bonfire puts out. Let's just see how much, how much. Let's see. Yeah, 40 feet is something saying here. Yeah, okay, let's say up to 40 feet away, it produces bright light. That's a pretty good range. So, pretty much out to this whole distance. And let's say because it's burning through the night, Ayla isn't. Let's see how good care Ayla is taking of the bonfire. That's a 13. It's okay. Let's say the bonfire is reduced from that 40 to like a 35. It's not quite perfect. And the dim light is out farther than that, but again, umbral cloaking is a factor. So, what we're going to do is first we're going to do the Twisted Stalker stealth roll to see how well it sneaks up. Got a 12 plus 11, so it's got a 23. And then as it approaches, let's see what Ayla's perception check is. She's actively on watch, so there's no reason for her not to be. But the creature is effectively in dim light, and her dark vision does not function on it, so she's going to have disadvantage on this. That's cocked. And that's a 1. So it manages to kind of sneak up. But once it enters the bright light area, then she's going to have another check to be able to make. Damn, she rolled a 3. I don't think no, she can't beat the thing's stealth, so it just kind of gets up. She doesn't notice it. Now, the Stalker has two main targets here. It's got the Barbarian right there, or Henich, it's got Zephyria or Henich right there. So two targets that it can attack. So in this situation, it's going to have trouble. Henich is in the bright light, so his umbral cloaking isn't functioning. But so now this is the quick way to run the rules. Like, normally it's difficult to sneak up on stuff, but in the bright light, actively looking around, this is going to be a little more difficult. So I am going to give Ayla one more. Once it gets into striking range, I'm going to give Ayla kind of one more. Maybe. Well, first, you know what? Let's determine who the stalker's going after. So 4. Let's say, okay, it's going to go after Henich then. So Henich is asleep and prone, which effectively would mean what? What's the condition for that? At least incapacitated, stunned, unconscious. Yeah, unconscious. Yeah, it's prone, fail saves, attack rolls, and so this thing is going to get basically 2 crits on Henich if it successfully sneaks up. But at the same time, let's give this creature one more stealth roll. And mostly because being unconscious doesn't do anything to, well, can't move or speak and is unaware of its surroundings. So no, it wouldn't get that type of thing. And you can usually run like passive perception to wake them up, which I think is fine, but at least at disadvantage. So let's say Henich's passive perception right now is 15 because it's normally 20 minus 5 for disadvantage. So we're going to give the Stalker one more stealth roll to see if it passes that. Which, okay, it's got a 3 plus 11, so it barely doesn't. So Henich, let's say, in this scenario, if we're going to arbitrate it this way, which I believe you've arbitrated being asleep and stuff happening, you've arbitrated it this way before. So either in this case, the Stalker would be using the same stealth roll it used before of 23, or it would use this new stealth roll of 14, which fails against Henich's passive perception. So there's some nuance there. It depends on how you want to run it. If you want to be mean, I guess, I don't like the term mean. If you want to be harsh, then no, the Stalker would just get 2 crits here. So let's explore that idea. If you want to be kind of harder on the stealth, what would be 2 crits, 2 automatic crits? Or, well, you have to roll with advantage. So a 15 plus 10, so that hits, and it's an auto crit. And then the second one is an 8 plus 10, which he's not holding his axes, so his AC, he's not actively holding his axes because he's asleep, so his AC is 18, so that hits. So both are hits on Henich. And then let's say, and I'm gonna write this down, by the way. instead of trying to mark it anywhere or lower thresholds or anything, I am going to just write it down. Here's a pen. So Henich takes these 2 crits, let's say, and this is, we're going to look at this initial version of the scenario. And this is also potentially a reason to have two people up on watch. So if you have one person, this is a thing. And this is something Henich would know, but let's just say, for the sake of it, only Ayla was on watch. So Henich is going to take how much damage? Let's see. For these crits, Henich is going to take maxed damage from 2 die and then roll the die. Or, you know what, let's just do normal rules for monsters. I like normal rules for monsters and the special rules for players. I think I like that a little better. Okay, so the first hit is that, and then what? And 2d10 acid damage. So fucking 4d10 acid damage. So I think this thing does have the damage to be threatening. So let's pull up a calculator. So this is for the first attack, by the way. And this is just because it's 2 auto crits. This is what you get with like a really stealth-focused creature. So for the physical damage on the first hit, wow, I rolled 3 8s. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 6 plus 7 is 37 damage plus 4 plus 10 plus 3 plus 1 plus 3 acid damage. So that's 58 damage for the first attack. And I'm just going to roll this again. Okay, that's much less damage. So then let's write this down. This pen doesn't work. Man, pen doesn't work. Other pen. Got it. Okay, so he took 58 damage from that first attack, which he could have reduced, but now also a viable target would have been Zephyria because, oh, what the pen exploded? The hell? All right, that's cool. All right, whatever. Continuing. So for this, that's for the first attack, auto crit. Um, then let's say that first attack wakes you up. So then the second attack isn't a crit. I think that's probably reasonable, but you still get advantage on it. And this one, to my knowledge, hit. So, I mean, I don't see this being like, you get a crit and then they stay asleep. And so, yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. So this attack is just going to be normal. So this one is going to be 8 plus 6 plus 7 plus 7 plus 5 plus 3 acid. So that's 36 total plus 58. So he took 94 damage, which puts Henich unconscious again. Exactly enough damage to put him unconscious. So if this creature does sneak up, that's a thing. And Henich is the only one with access to healing spells, so Henich is down. But we can imagine that also Ayla has heard this. So let's give the creature another stealth roll with disadvantage, let's say. Man, those are terrible. So 4 plus 11, 15. And then Ayla will give a... What's Ayla's passive perception? Well, also, that was probably a loud enough noise. She's got a passive perception of 14. So they kind of match. Was it a 4 plus 11? No, 15. Okay, well, that missed, but that was a 15. Okay, so it catches, let's say it catches Zika's passive perception, which, if you're tag factoring in disadvantage, it would be 19. So somehow Ayla misses this, and the creature has free reign to just go over. Well, see, this is where it gets a little tricky because let's say you gave the benefit, like played it a little harsh so that it could sneak up on one, but then this wakes up everybody else. There's no way you can hide this. I didn't give it any special ability to attack silently or any feature like that. So let's say it can't quite do that. Damn, this video is 20 minutes already. So roll initiative. So first for the Stalker is a 17 plus fucking 7. So, Jesus. So it's going to go next, basically. So 24 for its initiative. Let's just say that wakes everybody up. Just there's like sleep rules are a bit weird. So Zika has a 4. So Zika's got a 15. Ayla has a 16 plus 2. So Ayla has an 18. And then for Zephyria, who has advantage, 18 plus 3, right? So 21. And we'll do Henich's, even though he's down, but, you know. So Henich got an 18 plus 6. So 24. So he's tied with the Stalker, but he's going to go afterwards because he is, his dex isn't as high. So, oh, and actually, you know what? Let's say, because that was part of the creature's turn, and having extra attack outside of combat, I allowed it to make its 2 attacks immediately. You might not do that. You might just let it make 1 attack because that makes sense. So, but in this case, I let it make 2 attacks. So that's a factor. It's up to you. A lot of the time, I don't like to let extra attack matter in or outside of combat. But if it's a creature that's like using 2 weapon fighting or something specific, that gets them an extra attack, then yes. Like, say, Polearm Master, I would let them do their Polearm Master strike outside of combat as, like, basically part of the same attack if they were attacking someone out of combat. So, okay. So, Stalker's turn. Zika is up but prone. Zephyria is up but prone. There's no surprise, but because it's not Zephyria's turn, she is not able to rage. And the Stalker, seeing this target, is going to go after her. And she is prone, so it's going to have advantage. That's the highest one is a 14. What is it? It's attack. Okay, that hits. So the first attack hits. Damn, a 1 and a 2. Second attack whiffs. But the first attack hits. And then I'll handle the ranged attack in a second. So that is a 5 and a 6. 11 plus 7. So that is 18 slashing damage for... I'm just writing this down. All right, so that is 18 slashing and 7 plus 3, 10 acid for the first attack, and then it's going to perform its Ranged acidic spit attack on, let's see. Let's see. Who would it do it at? Let's say Ayla isn't prone, so she's a more viable target. So that's a 5 plus 9, so 14. That barely misses. Barely misses. So this acid spit, it's two attacks on Zephyria. One of them she rolls out of the way. Then an acid spit at Ayla, which she dodges in turn. So that's a thing. Um, then then as a bonus action, it doesn't need to take it. Can't really hide as a bonus action, but it's going to. So it's going to. I don't know. Yeah, it's just going to stay where it is. It's not going to do anything. So okay, Hanich's turn, and per the acidic stalker thing, this a con or dex save, which Hanich is now unconscious again, so he automatically fails those. Right? Yeah. And let's say it's con or dex. His dex is better, but he just fails this save, so he takes one failed death save. We cancel. So he takes one failure, and then he gets to roll death save, and that's a 14. So one success on his turn. So he's got one failure and one success. Okay, and then this doesn't persist per multiple turns. It's just extra damage on one time on their next turn. But it does stack if they're hit by multiple. He was hit by multiples. So he takes two failures. He's got that much acid on him. He takes two death save failures because he was hit by two claw attacks, getting enough acid on him. So he's got two death save failures already. This is what can happen. Okay, so now it is, next in the order is Zephyria, who is, now, she's going to, all she saw was this creature standing over where Henich was. That's all she really saw. So, and then it came after her. So, I don't know if she's going to be particularly angry, how she's going to feel, but let's just say she's going to basically getting attacked out of her sleep. So she's going to, let's say she's going to rage. I don't have her table in front of me, so I'm just going to use the basic Wild Surge table. So it's a D8. So that's a 7. The ground within 15 feet of her is difficult terrain for her enemies, which is interesting because the Twisted Stalker ignores non-magical difficult terrain. So, okay. That's funny. So, she's going to use half of her movement to stand up, take her attacks, and she's going to attack recklessly. So, what exactly are her attacks? Okay, so she's going to attack with her halberd. She rolled double nines. So, first attack misses. Second attack. Second attack. Damn, also misses. And she doesn't have her bonus action, so she takes two swipes and both miss on this creature. Nobody's been able to hit it yet. But she's up and she's standing next to this creature. Next up is Ayla, who is going to fire off that draconic spirit. She sees, she can just see that Hanich has gone down. This is some kind of threat, obviously. So, call forth a draconic spirit. Let's say she has the object that's worth. Okay, she picked it up on the way out, let's say, of the city. Corporeal spirit, blah, blah, blah. Cast a spell. Choose a family of dragon. We'll say chromatic. Creature is an ally to you and your companions. And let's give Ayla an insight roll to figure out that this creature is using acid. She rolled pretty good. So yeah, she figures out that this creature is using acid in some way. I forgot to roll the dex save for the dex or con save for Zephyria to avoid the acid. Um, she's got a con. Let's say it's a dex save because that's at advantage. So that's a 12 plus 3. That's just enough. So she manages to avoid that extra damage. Good for her. But now it's Ayla's turn. She summons this Draconic Spirit. It's got an armor class of 14 plus the spell's level, which makes it a AC of 19. And it's got hit points for 50 plus 10 for each spell level above 5th. So it's got 60 HP. It's got a fly speed of 60 feet. It's got damage resistances to acid, cold. Yeah, let's say it's chromatic. Acid, cold, fire, lightning, poison. Immune to charm, frighten, poison, draconic. Proficiency bonus equals your bonus. When you summon the dragon, choose one of its damage resistances. You have resistance to that, so she grabs acid resistance from this, even though she should usually kind of have it, but you know. So let's say, she summons this draconic spirit next to her. Where can she put it? 60 feet. Okay, so she's going to put it here. Dragon! And then the dragon is then, okay, it's an action to cast, and then it shares your initiative count, but it takes your turn immediately after yours. So then, cats. Okay, so it's got rend attacks. Makes a number of rend attacks equal to half the spell's level rounded down, and it uses its breath weapon. Okay, my headset just turned off for some reason. I guess it doesn't. Whatever. Because it's not hearing anything, I guess. Alright, so then Ayla is going to take a bonus action and fire off a quickened spell. A quickened spell, Thousand Cuts. Now, the other thing about this encounter is I'm playing as if the characters are completely fresh. That's the other thing. At the end of the day, in the middle of the night, characters are not likely to be completely fresh. So that is another factor that is in this creature's favor. Especially after seeing that first round taking out Henich in 2 attacks. This thing's probably good enough, as long as it's attacking when it's in its element at night. So Ayla rolled a 1, misses. So she uses however many sorcery points, whatever. I'm not keeping track of those. So that's the end of her turn, and now it is the Draconic Spirit's turn. So it uses her spell attack modifier of +6, which is not great. So first rend attack. That's a 2, misses. That's a 6, misses. So both miss, and then it's going to use its breath weapon in a 30-foot cone. Let's just say it can shoot it so it doesn't hit anybody else. So it's against your spell save DC, dex save, and it's a type of damage. So let's just say it's fire damage. So the Stalker has to make a dex save. 13 plus dex, yeah, it makes it. So it takes 2d6, half of this. Takes 2 damage. Woo, it finally took damage. 2. Woo. Damn, now it's going to run. All right, so that's it for that turn. And now finally or not finally, but it is Zika's turn. Who, standing up, is probably going to, let's just say with their passive perception, they can figure out that Henich is down. Zika, knowing that Henich is one of their best, strongest allies. Let's just say they run over and administer a potion. So 8d4 plus 8 hit points. So I am just going to roll that here, right? That's what it is. Yeah, 8d4. Oops, I rolled it to everyone, whatever. Okay, so Henich restores 24 plus 8 hit points. So he comes back at 32 life. And he is on the ground, but he is up. And then Zika is going to click his boots together. Do they need a bonus action to activate? Oh, you don't even need to activate them. So Zika is going to then, having used some movement to get over to Henich, is then going to dash and fly up into the air to get a slightly better view. So we'll just say they're over here and they are 20 feet up in the air. We'll just do that. Okay, now it is the Stalker's turn. Seeing a sudden dragon that has appeared next to them, it is going to, let's say it's going to, what is it going to do exactly? The dragon has managed to do a little bit of damage to it, so let's say it swings on this dragon. That's a 2, that misses. That's a 1, that misses. And it is now going to fire a acidic spit at Zika. Oh wait, it has disadvantage. Well, that's still a 13 plus 9. Yeah, that hits. So, acidic spit. Yeah, here we go. 2d10. So, 10 plus 3. 13 acid damage on Zika, who has just, flown into the air and made himself a good target. And now Cloak of Displacement fades a bit. But now it is Henich's turn, who is now up. So he is now going to dart at this creature who almost killed him. And he is going to take a swing himself. And he's going to take all 3 of his swings on this creature. So that's a 1, that's a 7, and that's an 11. So I think only that last attack hits. Yeah, with his Vith Fangs. So, yeah, his last attack hits and he activates Favored Foe. So he just gets 1 hit. So 7 plus, what is it, a d6? Yeah. Ooh, 6. So Henich does 7 plus 5, 12. So he does 18 slashing damage. And then, what, does he have any cool bonus? Yeah, he doesn't know that this thing is acidic, so he's going to use, well, he landed 1 attack, so let's see. What is it? Succeed on a dex save or take acid damage. So that's a 2 plus 9. 11. That fails. So he takes another 10 acid damage. So he is confused. He's not going to do any. He's not going to try to eat it as a bonus action now, especially after seeing acidic blood spurted out. So that's not a good idea. All right, now up in the order is Zephyria, who is going to take more strikes on it at advantage. Okay, that hits. First one hits. Second one hits. And the bonus action does not hit. So, first two hit. That is going to be a D10 plus a D4 for poison. So I'll do the poison at the end. And now her rage damage is +3. So it is going to be it's going to be 5 plus 5, so 10 slashing plus 3. So 13 slashing damage plus another, 10. 15 plus 3, 18 slashing damage. So that's a good amount. Now she has to make 2 dex saves. She fails the first one, and she passes the second one. So she takes 10 acid damage. And she's not resisting this. So, now what is the creature's current health? It's actually taken some damage now. So 2 plus 18 plus 13 plus 18. So it's down to half life now, actually, just from those few attacks. But this is what having like a really high AC monster can do. So now, let's say, because it's down to half life, now it's going to run. Probably give it a bit more life overall, but it's hit that kind of threshold where it's taken enough damage where it wants to run. It feels like it doesn't have as much of an upper hand now. So, but it's Zika's turn. And this is where kind of where you want to save this uh, um what is it? Oh, displace presence ability. You want to kind of use it against Zika, who is going to have like much larger single hits. But so Zika, floating up in the air, is going to take steady aim for advantage, and that is 11 plus stuff. Yeah, plus 11, so that hits because you decided to give Zika +3 arrows using one of them. Who cares? So Zika is going to take that shot. It's going to hit. And what is Zika's sneak attack? Where does it say it? Where the fuck does it say it? Okay, 5d6. All right, so that is 10 plus 7. That is 17 damage. So let's let Zika roll the damage, actually. So that would be 17 damage plus 5d6. That's 1, 2, 3, 6, 9 extra damage. So that would be 28 extra damage, but it's going to use Displace Presence, which now has to recharge, and it is going to move slightly. And it's actually now just out of Zephyria's range. As this bolt streaks through where it was, and an image of it fades as the creature reappears next to where it was. So then, it's now the Stalker's turn. It is going to take... It's going to take an attack at Henich and take an attack at the Draconic Spirit. So, first attack on Henich is a natural 1. Let's say it takes a second attack at Henich now. So that's a 19, so that hits. um, it rolled really poorly that last round too. It might have done enough damage to kill the Draconic Spirit in one turn, but again, this is the advantage of surprise in this case. So I'll go over some stuff afterwards. But so it hits. So that is 2d8 plus 2d10. So 8 plus 7 damage, 15, and 3 plus 9 plus 3 acid damage. So 15 acid damage and 15 physical damage. So Henich is going to immediately do absorb elements to absorb this acid damage. Or actually, he doesn't understand this acid, so no, he's going to do um, absorbing ward to do that. But to reduce that damage from 15 down to 7. But the other 15 plus 7 is what? 22, which just brings him down again. So Hanich gets hit with one more attack, and he goes down again. So that threat kind of neutralized as far as this creature is concerned. It is now going to run. It the Draconic Spirit gets an attack, an opportunity attack. That misses. Man, yeah, Ayla's spell attack modifier is not good. So that misses, and it has 50-foot range or 50-foot speed, so it gets out here, for example. So Hanich's turn. He's covered in acid again, so he takes a death save failure. He takes a failure, but then he rolls a success, so he's got one failure and one success. Or let's just mark it here. So that's going on. So yeah, now it is Zephiria's turn, who is going to rush after it. And then, but the main thing is, as soon as it got out of the bright light of the bonfire, it seemed to just disappear. So she's going to get about to that range and make a perception check with disadvantage. Damn, she still rolled a 15. Plus perception 4, and let's say this creature got out that far, and then once it was in the darkness, it took the hide action, so it can roll stealth. And because it's in the darkness, let's say it does it with advantage. So that's a 19 plus 11. Zephyria loses sight of it. So, but she can still get to about there, but she doesn't know what to do. She can't quite see where it is. She has some idea. She saw like kind of where it ran. So let's say she's going to throw a javelin with disadvantage, but she's going to well, you can't reckless attack that. So that's a 17 and an 18. So it hits. That's a 3 plus 4, so 7 damage. Oh, I didn't roll for the displaced presence. Doesn't get it back. So then it is now Ayla's turn, who is going to kind of run over here. I don't know. She probably would contend, like, she might look after Henich now because she definitely can't see anything. But so she'd probably go over and start tending to Henich. Either she's got to have like some normal healing potions. So let's say she just gives him a normal healing potion and that's it. And then the Draconic Spirit goes after it. Um, does the Draconic Spirit have any kind of... Oh, it's got Blind Sight, so it gets out to about there, and it just finds it, because that's kind of how Blind Sight works. So it gets to make its 2 attacks. So 3 and a nat 20. So let's see. It does a d4 plus 4, the spell's level piercing damage. Oh, I didn't do the breath weapon last turn. Let's say it did 4 damage to the creature, like average. It probably succeeded. So So 2d6. 2d6. So 2 plus 5, 7 plus 5. So that is 12 piercing damage to the creature. Yeah, it's not looking too good. But so it's not doing too good. Then Zika's turn. He flies over here, but this creature has like completely disappeared. It's his dark vision can't pick it up. So, but he's going to, let's say he's going to take another. He's going to take the same kind of attack, say with disadvantage. It misses. Um, Not by much. Fires a shot. So then this, let's just say now this creature gets away. So that's kind of how that encounter would go, or that's one way it could go, depending. Like it might, if you don't specifically, if you're not as harsh on the stealth rules, then that could go a little poorer um, for the creature. But if not, it's probably going to get a free crit and then advantage on few attacks, and then that's probably enough to just about take out somebody. And this is characters at full strength, so I'm actually thinking we're going to lower the damage slightly and improve its defenses a little bit. But I'll work on it. I'll send you the video and you can give me some feedback. So yeah, that's about it. Damn, this was long.